Welcome back to the GSL. I'm Tasteless, and with me is my nerd hetero life partner, Artosis, and we are here casting the final best of 3 for today in the round of 32 at the GSL.
Yeah, and this one's going to be pretty exciting because it has Golden Mouse winner Starcraft 1 legend July Zerg from the team Startail. He is going against Alive Foyu, one of the best Foyu players, and from what I've seen, I think might be top 2 with Leenock.
Yeah, I really was impressed with Leenock. I think the whole Foyu team is so good. July Zerg, of course, the Golden Mouse winner. We don't have many of those from StarCraft 1.
Only Zerg to do it.
Yeah, only Zerg to ever get a Golden Mouse.
That's 3 OSL victories, for those of you who don't know. That's
of course, yeah. I should have mentioned that.
He did it all in different time frames. Most people that got it did, like 3 within, a year or 2. But he was just like, all right, I'll get one now, get one in the middle of my career, get one right at the end. Like when everyone else is so good, I'll just be like, I'll just win this one. Don't worry about it.
It's pretty impressive.
It's one of the most impressive things that has ever happened in sports. It's I can't really overstate how amazing it is.
It's pretty awesome.
The guy is sick. He's got his own style. He was known as the God of War in StarCraft 1.
Also a great game.
His super aggressive, amazing play. Yeah,
he's Kratos of StarCraft.
Kratos is the July Zerg of God of War games.
When you think about it, whenever I watch this guy play, the God of War music does play in my head. Poor Kratos is like ripping people up. It's like Kratos, and he's just like ripping people's arms off. I feel the same way when I watch July Zerg. He's a very awesome player.
Yeah,
I'm curious to see how much success he's going to have in StarCraft 2 because he was pretty. He was able to, as you said, kind of make his appearance and show how strong he was in different phases of StarCraft 1 history. So I'm curious to see if we're going to see some dominance throughout the StarCraft 2's history here at the GSL on the left. We've just been talking about him the entire time. It's July Zerg. His achievement is a StarCraft 1 legend.
Yeah, it's quite an achievement.
Over here at the far right, it's Alive Foyu. Foyu kind of in July Zerg's, or Alive rather, in Foyu's shadow here. Excuse me, in July's shadow. That was not coming out very easily, was it?
No.
Now, we don't know, though. Alive Foyu could take out July Zerg. He already took out OGS Zenio in the round of 64, and Zenio was the guy that took out Hydra and many other good Zerg players in Season 2, so you never know.
I gotta say, it's hard for me to say because I'm actually a huge July Zerg fan. I've loved to watch this guy's play all the way from StarCraft 1. He's always been one of my favorite players ever to watch. He's just so talented, so hardworking, but I almost feel this dread in the pit of my stomach that Alive is going to eat July alive.
It could happen. Alive Foyu, he's definitely got quite a good amount of Zergs to learn from.
Yeah.
Now, the maps won't be too impactful in this case because it is a mirror matchup. Although our first map might have some role here. It's going to be, a Delta Quadrant, Telnaga Caverns, and Steps of War.
Yeah, and it's actually
ZBT. I don't know what's going on with my brain today.
That's okay, guys. I'll forgive you.
I dropped the ball.
July Zerg can get as aggressive as anyone. So, maybe Delta Quadrant, Steps of War won't be quite as bad for him like they are for Kyrix. You watch Kyrix play, it's like, well, he doesn't really care what map it is because he's so aggressive. We'll have to see. Can he adjust these maps?
Pillsbury Doughboy picture.
Yeah.
There's a shot of July Zerg now. And, I'm sorry, go ahead, Artosis.
No, I have nothing to say.
You got nothing? All right, I'll take over. So ZBT, we've casted a lot of ZBTs here, round of 64 and round of 32. A lot of Zergs are getting eliminated, by the way.
Yeah.
By these Terrans.
A lot of it, obviously everyone's very good, but a lot of it has been, we've seen a lot of Steps of War and Jungle Basin for Zergs, and those are 2 hard maps to win on.
Yeah, one hard for the early game, one hard for the mid game. So that'll be pretty interesting to see what July Zerg has planned on some of these maps.
Yeah.
Delta Quadrant is a map that has huge roles positionally in TDZ. Telnaga Caverns, pretty safe map for everybody. Everybody kind of agrees it's a good map. Steps of War is a final map, so if you go to a third game, that's going to be tough for July Zerg.
Yeah, he's going to have to pull something crazy out. Normally we see Zergs do some crazy all-in strategy on that map, but when it's the third map, man, it hurts to lose on an all-in. So
it's rough.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of interesting rushes with Terran against Zerg on those maps. We've seen Zerg come up with some pretty creative solutions to deal with some of these rushes. Now, remember, Alive Foyu, pretty deadly. July Zerg, a legend, from StarCraft 1. I can't wait to get this started. In fact, speaking of which, the countdown has begun, so get ready. Up here at the top left, in the red, a legend from Starcraft 1. He is July Zerg.
A lot of fans here today for him.
Yeah, look at the vast majority of them here for him. Over here in the Terran, a member. Over here in the blue, a Terran player, a member of the team FOU. And it's not going to be easy for July Zerg to play against him. He's
alive for you.
Alive for you. Now I'm curious how Alive FOU, being a much younger player than July Zerg, about 6 years younger, feels playing against somebody like July Zerg, because obviously if you're a StarCraft 2 pro gamer, and to this guy's age, you're probably watching July Zerg play on TV back when you were a kid.
Oh, definitely, and that has to factor in. I mean, you have to feel something tasteless. I mean, I've been playing StarCraft just as long as July, but I watched him in like every match he ever played, so
yeah.
If I were to play him, I'd be like, oh my god, it's July Zerg!
I would be doing the same thing. I mean, this guy is seriously a legend. By the way, a low ground wall-in, we've seen players do this because it does wall-in a little bit quicker than the high ground wall-in, where you need 3 structures sometimes to wall-in.
And a little bit quicker rally as well.
That's true.
And it, of course, when you wall-in quicker, why would you want to do that, you ask? Well, it blocks him from scouting. You might have a second barracks up there, you might be going gas as we see, you might be making a command center. You just don't know, Tasteless.
Yeah, you don't. And that's why you want to block it from that intel, because that way he has to respond to more things.
Now July Zerg getting speed first. Very safe, very July Zerg-esque.
Yeah. Of course, with speed, you can take out any early attacks pretty easily, as well as pick off incoming workers that are going to be used as scouts.
Yeah, you get some really good map control early on. It helps out with your scouting a bit. Makes you very safe against everything but Hellion openings. But here's the thing, he is gassing quick. We could see a Hellion opening. And if he does a really well-executed Hellion opening, look at that natural, Tasteless. It's far away from the ramp. It's going to be very hard to actually block with Speedlings against a good number of Hellions.
Yeah, that is quite true. Delta Quadrant's an interesting map. I'm curious to see how this map would be played out if we did not have the destructible debris over here. And Zerg could fast expand on it.
Yeah, it would be a completely different map. It might even turn Zerg favored.
Yeah,
who knows?
I think so. Right now, Zerg's burden is, of course, to try to keep his second base alive on this map, while Terran could do so many different things to hurt the Zerg.
Quite true. There's a cliff to abuse. There's a really wide open area if they did go Speedling. And, I mean, he is getting the factory, as we see there.
Yeah.
So,
we could see some heavy teching coming up here.
Yeah, we might see Tekken. We could see those Hellions as well. Maybe even a Hellion Marine attack.
Yeah, that would be pretty good too.
Yeah.
Since most Zergs are forced to get a quick pool, just as July did in this case, the hatchery does finish later, which means you can have a timing attack on that before it's finished, or before a spine crawler is completed there.
Before your creep is spread as well. The creep really important for Speedlings against Hellions.
Back here at the Terran's base, we have an add-on here, Tech Lab.
This could be for the Blue Flames. Definitely a possibility.
We're going to find out. Marine's chasing out those Zerglings, and he's going to try to scout again, but July ain't going to have none of that.
Very interesting from Alive. He is getting the add-on to this, and not Blue Flame Tasteless, but in fact Siege Tanks. So I think we're going to go ahead and see an expansion coming up. From Alive FOU. Siege Tank expands so safe. Any Baneling attacks aren't going to work. You just run your SCVs, let the Siege Tanks clean them up while they're in siege mode. And it's just an uber safe opening.
Uber for our German viewers. Uber.
With a couple dots over the U.
Yeah. I know esports is pretty big in Germany.
It is huge,
actually.
man.
It's
in
kind
fact,
of exciting to see how esports is growing everywhere we go.
I was lucky enough to get over there for an IEM tournament, and I tell you what, man, what a scene. It is absolutely phenomenal. I love Germany.
Yeah.
If I wasn't living in Korea, I'd be living in Germany.
Well, there's esports is just getting bigger and bigger over here. Over in Germany. It's very exciting. China, of course, another one of these fronts where esports is just exploding.
Definitely.
And Sweden as well.
Now, July Zerk playing so awesomely. This is the safe type of play I love to see. Notice his Baneling Nest is going to finish right along with that hatchery. You know, he's already gotten a little bit of intel, telling there's quickest Baneling speed I've seen from a pro Zerg.
Now, one thing I got to point out is that Terran is not. Terran is actually going to get 2 more barracks over here and crank out some Hellions, so he's only going to get 1 of those siege tanks. I thought he was getting more. This might be just used to scout. We're going to find out here. Here's the expansion coming up.
Now, you know, we don't know, or either July Zerk does not know exactly what a live foe is doing. So he has gone and made a Baneling speed, rather, very quickly, so that he can stop any sort of rush attacks. And I love to see that, Tasteless, because not enough Zergs do it. If you don't know what they're doing, just get Baneling speed. But
nice job, takes out the Hellion over here.
We just had an amazing scan right on top of this Spire and Baneling's Nest.
So Terran's in the know right now.
Yep. The expansion going up.
SCVs coming over here, transferring. Tasteless, click on every mineral patch.
You're very quick, Tasteless.
I'm good.
I'm quite impressed.
Here we have the destructible debris almost gone. He's going to be able to expand there pretty quickly.
7 mutas on the way. And he's going to want to take that expansion right now, as he is doing.
Terran is pushing out. I don't know if this is going to be an attack or not.
This is actually kind of dangerous, because if they see if he sees it coming, he makes a bunch of speed banes, and suddenly you lose everything. And I mean, you're not going to come back against July Zerk from that situation. Now he's morphing some.
Is this going to force
Stim just finished. So this is a timing attack based around Stim. He can cancel this hatchery in a moment, right before it dies, clean up this army, and he's going to be feeling pretty good.
Did he actually not cancel that? No, he did not. It was just destroyed.
And that actually did not go how July Zerk saw it going. Loses his Banelings to the siege tanks, and has pretty big damage dealt to his mutas by the Marines.
Muta's now coming southward. He's actually going to try to intercept.
Nice move. Going to clean this army up now. But, you know, he didn't clean up with quite the efficiency he would have wanted.
I think he thought he was going to save this at the last second, but Terran was doing a good job of focus firing that.
Yeah, so definitely that nothing there went really how July Zerk totally wanted it. It was actually a very important situation in the game. He could have gotten quite far ahead, but instead it's a pretty close game right now.
Yeah, I would say even exchange thus far.
Yeah.
But no, Diaz coming in here and trying to take out some SCVs. Muta's being chased back.
And look at that.
Turrets are finishing just in the nick of time.
Perfect timing on those turrets. You know, when you have the great Zergs from foe you to practice against, your timing is going to be pretty sick. And against players like Leenock, who I think is probably even better than July Zerg, and you know, Golden, they're just amazing Zerg players for him to practice against on that foe you team.
Muta's regrouping.
Tasteless.
And he's going to take 2 gold bases.
Double gold expand. Pretty wild.
Now this is a problem with one like this, is that later on in the game it's much more susceptible to being attacked.
Yep.
You see, he wants to bait a live foe you into stimming.
Making a bunch of Banelings right now. Whoa. Whoa,
he scans and sees it.
And he's going to want to lift that depot up. Does have some siege tanks behind to deal with any Banelings that try to get aggressive on him.
July Zerk does have the gold base up.
Now, this is an important moment in the game. As he drones up both these gold bases, he's got to get some sick macro going. In fact, he should be adding some additional hatcheries, because when you get those gold bases, when you're going Mutaling Bane, you need some extra macro hatcheries.
Yeah,
you get a lot of mineral buildup. You can't really spend it on Lings and Banes, and mutas are cut down by the gas. So you're really not spending a lot of minerals on anything. But this is an important moment for our Terran player. We're going to have to see how he reacts to this. Is he going to expand? Is he going to attack? Because Jelizerg's economy is about to be pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. A moment where Terran's going to have to do something. You can't just sit back here. There's no way Terran can expand to both the gold bases right now to catch up. So he basically has to attack the Zerg. He has to take out at least one of these gold bases, ideally both, or ideally kill the Zerg. But if the Zerg survives this without losing a hatchery, I don't think things are going to be going too well for our Terran.
No, not at all. And it is becoming time, Tasteless, for the attack. There's not a whole lot of Banes, making a lot more now, though. And a Mutalisk counterattack could be quite good, but he's got to be ready to switch his drones away from that gold base. It's okay to sack a base if you can hurt Terran's expansion. I don't know if he's going to do that, though. Really, he should just sack that gold, move over to the other gold, buy time, and do what he can with his mutas. So let's see if he does that.
Not very focused on the drones is Jelizerg, but on the SCVs, Jelizerg is very focused on taking out those and chasing them away. Meanwhile, this expansion will indeed be sacked, as Artosis predicted. Command Center getting low on HP.
Jelizerg playing exquisitely here.
And he could just engage these Marines.
And he's going to go ahead and kill those. If he kills, the Command Center goes back and defends this attack. That is wildly good.
There are just too many mutas out here right now.
Yeah.
These SCVs are being transferred back for some reason.
Jelizerg playing Delta Quadrant better than I have ever seen anyone play it with this matchup.
He is so good. Surprised he didn't go ahead and kill that there, but I guess he wants to regroup to try to kill off this attack over here.
And look at this, all the Banelings coming. A lot of Siege Hanks, though. Oh, man.
He should not have attacked that soon, but Terran has still gotten whittled down to a small amount.
Jelizerg
coming in here to clean
beautiful.
up. Wow, talk about impressive.
Yeah, Jelizerg is infinitely ahead at this point. Take a look at this supply after that, 110 to 52.
Wow.
And there's really not going to be anything that our Terran player can do here. A live foe, you, despite being amazingly good. Jelizerg just playing strategically superb. Superb play.
Now takes out that medevac.
Oh, this is actually,
that might
this is
actually be
stupid.
too much.
That was bad right there.
Yeah, that was bad.
Got way overzealous. That's something that would have worked in StarCraft 1, absolutely not in StarCraft 2.
Both Zerg's now double expanding again to make up for his losses. Terran just trying to get this his only expansion up and running. Jelizerg should win this unless unless Jelizerg actually makes a blunder and gives it away to the Terran.
Yeah.
Alive Voyu.
Jelizerg is in an amazingly excellent shape. He is missing out on upgrades right now, aside from just +1 Mutalisk attack, because, he has been so busy making units and expansions, but still, he's just broken the army so many times, hurt the economy so much, taking his own economy a lot, that basically this is all he has to do right now, just kind of keep the Terran busy, make units, make economy, rather, and, when Zerg gets in a position like this, there's not much of a way for a Terran to really come back unless Zerg, as you said, Tasteless, totally botches it. Yeah, and it's the same for Protoss against Zerg, too. If the Zerg gets way ahead of you, all the Zerg has to do is sit back and make stuff and just kind of prevent you from getting too much more of an income. It's a lot of mutas, by the way. This is the muta ball. It is. You can see he wants the Terran to stem. Terran won't stem it at the same time. Terran's not going to get there and defend anytime soon. Even taking out mules there. Oh my god, he's just cleaning that up. There's too many mutas. Yeah, but more Marines are on the way. Has to pull back. Forces the stem, runs for it. Meanwhile, a ton of Banelings and Zerglings. Yeah, Jelizerg is looking to max here. He's so far ahead on supply, about 100 ahead, 160 to 60. Goodbye, Command Center. Got to see an all-encounter by a live Voyu with so few units. A live Voyu has to make this work or the game's over. He will leave the game if this attack does not succeed. And I don't know if you could stop this many Zerg units. That's right, he has so much. And here come the Banelings killing all of the Marines. We're going to see a GG momentarily here. There you go. GG. Beautiful play by Jelizerg. Jelizerg looking pretty intimidating. He's looking like StarCraft 1 Jelizerg. Yeah, I mean, the guy is absolutely sick. Yeah, you know that a live foe, you cannot be feeling good about that game because, there was no moment where a live foe was really ahead. It was just like, Jelizerg just pounding away at him. There was a moment where there was at least one even exchange. He did get the hatchery and then lose some units, but
that was only because Jelizer didn't cancel.
Yeah.
That's right. He could have actually canceled it, and he would have been ahead even then. But wow, talk about just really impressive play. Jelizer using Mutalisks, which, by the way, he was very well known for in StarCraft 1, doing the same thing here in StarCraft 2.
Absolutely. Well, July is really looking like he is in shape. It looks like Jelizer of old. He completely manhandled Alive, and I actually was so impressed with Alive in that last set that we saw him in. So impressed with Foyu, the practice partners he has. That's a big part of how good you can get, is how good your team is.
Yeah, you're only as good as the people you play with.
Yeah. Unless you're Flasher Jadong, of course.
Then you're just a god.
Then you're like way better. But seriously, I'm so impressed with Jelizer right now because Alive is an amazing player. That map should have favored him, but Jelizer just played exquisitely.
Yeah, that map should have favored Alive Foyu, but Jelizer totally outplayed him there. We're gonna go into game number 2 soon on Xel'Naga Caverns. This is a pretty neutral map as far as balance goes. So I think it's going to be a pretty exciting game. I'm curious to see what kind of style July is going to use on this, and if Alive Foyu can come back. So get ready for an awesome TVZ on the map. Xel'Naga Caverns with Tastes and Artosis. This is the GSL.